Hey guys, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about perfectionism, and even when I was planning and making this video, I was dealing with perfectionism of my own, but I have learned to push past it and to take action. So this video is for you if you are tired of letting perfectionism get in the way of starting your goals and your dreams. Maybe you want to start your business or your YouTube channel, whatever it is. I'm going to be sharing 3 concepts and mindset shifts that have helped me throughout the years. This first concept really has to deal with understanding perfectionism and how perfectionism is a defense mechanism that you have chosen to protect yourself and to keep you safe. And for some reason, it gives you some sort of benefit in your life. A lot of that benefit is sometimes just actually avoiding taking the action it takes to start your dreams. So sometimes you're giving yourself excuses like, oh, I'm not perfect enough. I need to keep learning. I don't know enough. And you have to keep studying, but you never end up doing anything because you're still perpetually studying. Or you're saying like, I'm waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time doesn't ever exist. The only time that you have is right now. That's like really surface level. But if we take a step deeper in there, we realize that now, if you're trying to break out of perfectionism, it has kept you in this perpetual cycle where you are frustrated, you are really hard on yourself, you're really unsatisfied with your life, and you keep trying really, really hard, but then you end up getting burnt out because being perfectionistic, you can't actually maintain that for a long period of time because you will burn out. And so you realize that now it's actually costing you a much higher price, right? So it's making you actually more uncomfortable than the comfortability of your perfectionistic tendencies, right? But now underneath that layer, you need to peel back the layers and figure out what is the fear behind my tendencies to be perfect. Whether you are aware of it or not, perfectionism is always going to be about some sort of fear that you have. So it could be the fear of being seen, the fear of failure, the fear of being made fun of, even the fear of being disliked by other people. And I have struggled with pretty much all of these fears because I think if you ever want to do anything for yourself and in your life, it really comes down to you and your fears. You need to allow this feeling of being uncomfortable to outweigh the benefits of being a perfectionist. You know that it's not possible anyways to be a perfectionist. You already know that it's impossible. We're human, right? And I'll go into that in the next one. So here are some journal prompts for you to get to know yourself and figure this out. So the first thing is, what are you getting out of from being a perfectionist? Okay. And what toll has it taken from your life? Like, what has it taken away from you? And then the next question is, what is your underlying fear that's causing you to be a perfectionist? What are you really afraid of? Because once you call out your fears for what it is, you can really heal the root cause and then move past your perfectionism. Sure, it's going to pop up here and there like I do, but the thing is you're overcoming it because you've been able to define what it actually is and you can't hide behind it anymore. The second concept is, we already know we're not perfect beings. We are imperfectly perfect. And as cliche, you've probably heard of this if you've been trying to combat perfectionism, but we all just have flaws and we need to learn to love and accept ourselves as we are right now. And we need to be able to give ourselves compassion. Anytime you're in personal development, you've probably heard you need to love and accept yourself. You need to be kind to yourselves and all these woo-woo things. And I just kind of like laughed at it because I was like in my girl bossing era. So I was like, you know, I got things to do. I don't have time for this love and accept yourself kind of thing. And I realized that that was such a huge mistake because it's something that I'm learning right now. You need to really turn into accepting your humanness and giving yourself the grace that you need that maybe you weren't given as a child, and that's why you are the way that you are. It's like, okay, how do you become more compassionate and loving and accepting towards yourself? And the only way that you can do that is really, like the first part, it's really about self-awareness. You have to be aware of what you're doing, and in the moments when you're feeling impatient or angry with yourself or like frustrated, it's not looking the way that I want it to, or it's not going the way that I want it to, you need to pause. And I know you're like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to like just have a conversation with myself, but you have to. And that's when you have to be like, pause, like, okay, what's really going on? What is this perfectionism? Why is this popping up right now? For example, I was making this video. I was like, I'm making a video on perfectionism, so I feel like I have to be perfect, which is really funny. And that's how I was feeling. And I was feeling like, oh, I don't have the aesthetics. I don't have a big enough space. I don't have the right clothing. And all of these things start coming out, right? and you're realizing it doesn't even matter those things because I have something that I have to say and I have something that I know that can help other people, right? And so you need to pause and give yourself grace and compassion. And I realized those were all excuses because I was afraid of doing my very first official YouTube video on this channel, which is more in depth and more of me talking about my own experiences, but also sharing genuine tips that I feel like can really help people and not just this surface level woo woo. And so you really need to pause and give yourself that acceptance and be like, hey, it's okay if you feel like that, but we got to move past it despite these things. So like, one of the things that had helped me is, yeah, I'm going to be compassionate and love myself through the process, but like, you really need to just realize that where I am right now is not where I'm going to be in the future. And so that's why perfectionism, like, it holds you hostage because you can't move forward, right? But when you love and accept yourself, you can move yourself forward with your imperfections and get through what you need to do, even if you feel afraid or even if you are doubting yourself. So that's kind of like the second concept. So really applying love and acceptance and compassion towards yourself is really the key thing that you need to do here. This is the last final piece of how to deal with your perfectionistic tendencies. And so this last one, I'm going to try to make it more practical because the first two is more about the inner work that you need to do with yourself, like figuring out what fears you have, understanding it, and then also having compassion and self-love and acceptance toward yourself while you're working on the projects that you're working on. So this last one is going to really talk about execution, because at the end of the day, you need to just execute. And so I remember having this conversation with my doctor. She's a well-published author. She has published, I don't even know how many books, but she really has. And I had shared with her that I had finished writing a book. Obviously it's not published yet, but she was like, you know what, once you finish it, just let it go. Just put it out there. It's done. Once it's done, it's done. And good is good enough. And I was like, whoa, it's so simple, but it was like so profound for me because I realized that I had been holding myself back because I was afraid of failing, afraid of like looking bad or embarrassing myself in front of like my family or in front of my friends. Like that's like really important to me. And so when I realized that, I was like, you know, it's just best to just get it done, do the best you can, obviously, right? But then let it go, let it out there. Like, for example, with this video, I'm kind of just like, I wrote a script for it, but I'm kind of just like going with it, right? You need to just come from your heart, but also know that you know exactly what you need to do and that whatever is the outcome, it's going to be the best outcome for yourself. You need to take action. So like, I'll give you an example of myself. I started posting TikTok videos at the beginning of the year and my videos sucked, to put it blankly. And I tried to be perfectionistic about it, but I was just like, forget it. You know, I didn't feel like I looked my best or anything like that, but I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. And I just committed to myself. So this is another thing that you could do. Commit to a consistency. So like, I was like, you know what, I'm going to post a TikTok every single day. And so that's what I did. I posted 7 videos a week. And so from that progression, I was able to get better. A lot of the times my videos, I was like, I look terrible, or I feel like what I'm talking about is not going to hit, but then they hit, they go viral, and like so many people watch it and they resonate with it. So it's just like, don't hold back your power based on waiting to be perfect, because you're perfect right now. Along with that, there are 3 P's that have really helped me in not only in making videos, but also in like public speaking. The 3 P's, and it's pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to go into it. And the first P is preparing. And so basically you have to prepare. Like for my videos, I research, I write my scripts, I do all of those things ahead of time. So I'm prepared. If you're not prepared, your perfectionistic tendencies are going to come all the way, and then it's going to stop you from even starting, right? So you're going to prepare. Second thing is you need to practice, especially if, let's say, you're trying to be a public speaker or you have a public speaking gig, which I have done before in front of hundreds of people. I practice. I practice in front of the mirror, practice my pauses. I practice, you know, where am I going to walk? How am I going to stand? The third P is pretending. And I really pretend that I know exactly how it's going to go down. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to do this. I have my scripts here. So I practice my script and I prepare it, right? And then I pretend. And sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. You have to just pretend I got it like that and just go out and do it. And soon enough, you are going to have it and you are going to got it, right? Okay. So that's like the 3 P's. And really just taking action, even if it's not perfect, obviously doing your best job that you know you can do, and you can always improve. That wraps up our video on the 3 concepts and mindset shifts that have really helped me, and I hope that they can help you as well. I'm gonna end with one last tip because, you know, like I said, I was struggling with making this video because, I don't know, something about making a video on perfectionism makes you want to be perfect. And so the last tip that I want to say is, like, don't compare yourself, because I was starting to compare myself with other people and where they were at, their YouTube channels and their videos. It doesn't even make sense, the comparison. Like, you can't compare your day 1 to someone's year 5. It's like 2 complete different things. So don't waste your energy on comparing, because there is no comparison. There's only one of you and one of them. And so you just need to focus on yourself and what you need to bring to the world, because the world needs your voice that only you have, because someone needs to hear from you. Whoever that is, there is at least one person that needs to hear from your story. So I hope that really helps you. If it did, please go ahead and like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.